Do a special math lesson right now. I'd like you to come down to the floor with your odd even A partner, odd even A, and you need to bring a piece of paper and a pencil with you. Something hard to write on. One of the big things you're going to see is mathematical practice number 3, which is construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. And we do a lot of social learning in our classroom. I have a 4-5 combo class, so this was a 4th and 5th grade integrated lesson. First of all, the 4th grade domain is number and operations fractions, 4.NF, and the cluster is understand decimal notation for fractions and compare decimal fractions. And then the 5th grade standard that is in this same lesson is the domain number and operations in base 10. That's 5.NBT. The cluster is the second cluster there, perform operations with multi-digit whole numbers and with decimals to the hundreds. Okay. Carson, I want you to swap with, let's see, let's put Stacy. Are you with Yesenia?
Yes.
Okay, so Carson, your partners with Stacy. Yesenia, come over here and work with Ruby. And then Kimberly, Yesenia, and Ruby, you guys are going to be a 3-person team, okay?
Yes, sir.
So Carson, you need to jump over there and work with Stacy. All right, we're going to do a deep math lesson right now. It's basically one problem, one big problem. You're going to work with your partner to try to solve this, and then we're going to bring it back together. We're going to try to reach consensus. We're going to try to discuss and share our answers. And I want you to really prove how much you understand the questions that you're going to be asked. That's your job today. Prove how much is in your brain has got to come out on your paper. All right? How deeply can you show me that you understand what we're talking about here? We're going to be learning about decimals today. All right? Here's the problem. I call it the 2.4 problem. Everybody read along with me. Write several different types of equations for
2.4.
So is there one right answer for that question? No. Many right answers. Do several of them and then move on to the next part. Don't get stuck on that one because you could spend all day doing that, couldn't you? I mean, if you really understood this, couldn't you all day, literally all day long, write equations for 2.4? If you think not, you don't get this. You can. You can write equations. So just do several of them and try to get different types of equations. So don't do a bunch of simple addition problems that are 2.4. Move on from that and get to something else. But try to come up with stuff that's original that you don't think other kids in the class are going to come up with. That are creative answers. That when you share it, somebody else will go, "Whoa, that's a cool one. I didn't even think about doing that." See if you can come up with one like that, okay? Draw some different types of
pictures
to represent 2.4. So the second part, we want pictures. So that if you show it to somebody, they look at it and say, "Oh, that's 2.4. I can tell by looking at your picture." How could you do that? It's a hard question. It doesn't have to be a picture like a picture of a tree and a person. I mean, it can be like a diagram. It just can't have necessarily words and numbers in it. That's what I'm looking for. Something that's more like a diagram type of a thing. That's what I mean by a picture, okay? Next part. Is 2.4 the same thing as the
quotient?
2 remainder
4.
You have to decide, yes or no. 2.4 could be the same thing as 2 remainder 4. If you believe yes, then the next part is why or why not. So you have to prove, again, with pictures, diagrams, doing math problems, showing it on your paper, why is 2.4 the same thing as 2 remainder 4 as a quotient? If it's not, you've got to prove to somebody that believes that it is why it's not. So we're just digging into the number 2.4 here. We're tearing it apart. We're coming up with your creative answers to understanding 2.4. You're going to work with your partner on this. You're going to have maybe, how much time do you want? 10 minutes? That's not very much time, is it? I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. We might go a little bit longer than that. I know you guys want more time than that. but we don't have all day to do this. Give you about 10 minutes to work on this with your partner. I want you guys spread out all over the room. I don't care where you are. You can be on the floor, couch, but I want you away from other kids so that you're not hearing what they're saying and going, oh yeah, let's do that one. You want to kind of keep it down too, because you want original ideas when we come back together again that you can share, that other people will go, whoa, that's cool, I didn't think of that. So kind of be out by yourself someplace. Dig in, discuss, collaborate. Collaborate means you're working together, right? You're going to collaborate. You're going to work together on this. Put your heads together. Both of you write stuff down on your paper, because I might have you split up to talk to somebody else to share what you came up with. So don't say, oh, well, we have that on the other person's paper. No, no. Put it on both papers, because you're going to be moving around the room, as you guys know, and talking to each other. You have to be able to show them on your paper, not say, oh, it's on my partner's paper. Anybody confused, have a question about any of this? I don't expect you to completely understand the math part of it right now, but anybody confused on the directions? All right. First, before you do anything else, I want you to turn to your neighbor without talking about the problem. I want you to talk about what you're going to do before you leave. What are you and your partner going to do to solve this? Go. Okay, raise your hand if you think you know what you're going to do right now. All right, good. Spread out. Get to work on it. Go.
Okay, 1.2 plus 1.2.
So, it's just putting down the decimal. And that equals 2.4.
Yeah.
And then we could do 1.2 times 2.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same thing, but it gets a little bit harder. So that's 5. And it equals 2.4.
We have 1.2 times 2. And
Okay, maybe we can figure out a smaller number than that and then multiply it by a higher number than 2. Then that could create 2.4.
Okay.
So you can do 2.4
Or we could do another
divided
division
by-
problem, because
You could do 2.4. Here, let's figure this out. We can do it divided by 3. That would get 0.8. So we can do 0.8 times 3.
0.8 times 3. Oh,
And that could get 2.4.
fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Got it. Okay. That equals 2.4. Okay. So I have 1.2 times 2 equals 2.4. 1.1. Let's go bigger.
Bigger? 10.20. Okay, how about 12.24? 20.
Okay, let's go over our answers. 2 and 4/10. That makes sense. 2 and 2/5. That makes sense. 2 and 40 100ths makes sense. 2 and 4 hundreds 1,000ths. 5, we put 2 triangles.
2 triangles and one square shaded in a little bit as 2.4.
Yeah, that equals to 2.4.
Number 6 is 2 and 4/10.
No, wait. Let's look at that. 2. Oh yeah, that's okay. All right. 2.
No, that wouldn't work. Well, no, because this right here equals 2 and 2/5, so it's fine. And this equals 2/4.
But we have to make an equation.
So you could do 2 and 2/5, 12 and 12.
What times what equals 2 and 2/5? Obviously 2 and 2/5 times 1, but like
1.2 times 2.
what about 1 and 1/5 times 2?
5. Do you want to add to it or subtract?
Did you guys get to the part about is 2.4 the same thing as 2 remainder 4?
No.
You might want to get to that because you already have several equations,
Yeah.
right? Rather than having nothing for that and having a ton of great answers for the first part. See what I'm saying?
Okay. So for 2, I did between 2. Si traemos 8. Tiene que ser un número de entre 17 y 23.
All right, go ahead and come back down to the floor now with your partner and your paper. Show me on your fingers, and if you had 10 or more, then just go ahead and do 10. Show me on your fingers, because that's all fingers most of you have at least. Show me on your fingers how many different equations you got to represent 2.4. All right, I'm seeing numbers from 3 on up through 10, and which means some of you got more than 10. How many of you had some different types of pictures to represent 2.4 in your paper? Raise your hand if you got some pictures. Any kind of pictures. Okay, most of you have some pictures. How many of you think 2.4 is the same thing as 2 remainder 4? Raise your hand. How many of you think 2 remainder 4 is not the same thing as 2.4? Thank you. How many of you did some sort of representation on your paper, explanation of why you think what's your answer? Excellent. Okay, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to free-for-all it around the room. I know you guys are used to doing consensus free-for-all. Can you do consensus on the first part? Not really, because everybody's going to have all different answers, and there's a bunch of right answers, aren't there? Now, there are some wrong answers. If somebody wrote 2.1 plus 2, is that 2.4? No. So you need to tell them 2.4 plus 2 is equal to, excuse me, 2.1. What did I say? I don't remember what I said, but whatever I said, it's wrong. Okay, tell them, look at it and say, that doesn't add up, and maybe prove it to them. Can you reach consensus on your drawings? Not really, but could some drawings be good drawings and some drawings be bad drawings? Yeah, somebody might have a drawing that supposedly represents 2.4 that doesn't really represent 2.4. Let them know. Okay? Could you reach consensus on the last one? Yes, you can reach consensus on that. So when you're talking to somebody and you're free-for-alling, get to the third part and find out if they think it's the same thing as 2 remainder 4, and find out if they think it's not the same thing, and reach consensus on that. Do not leave them until you agree and you have something on your paper that represents your answer. Now, we're going to just stick with pencil for this. We're not going to switch to pen like we normally do for consensus, because it's not so much a, did you do your homework, right or wrong answer type of a thing. But I want you to collect ideas from other people. If you meet with someone and they're just like, whoa, that's a cool idea, add it to your paper. And so your paper is going to be a collection of just awesome ideas and correct answers as well. Are you ready? Okay, I want you splitting up though. Don't stay with your partner. Don't talk to your partner at all. Go find somebody else in the room. Get off all different places in this room, away from other groups, right? And share and reach consensus. This is a combination. Share, feedback, reach consensus. Go. Oh, you went through everything? You shared everything?
We agreed on the same answer on the last why or why not.
How about your drawings?
I only got one.
Yeah, me too. I only got one.
Did you kind of share what you had with each other and maybe copy each other's?
Me and Jackie came up with this weird thing, like how to represent it. You can we did, instead of regular numbers, we put them into Roman numerals to represent. So back up this part. What did you get?
Me and Izzy came up with this. We just did we put 36 little circles down, and then you circle 2 groups, 2 16ths. That would be 2, and then you circle the remainder of 4.
I don't get it. No.
Did show that the 2.4.
Did.
Yeah,
24.4.
that's like a 0. Like we named it, divided it.
Oh, 0.0.
Divided by 10.
So you got 2 and then
1.4.
Wait, you would do half of that, which is 0.4 because it's not a full whole. It'd be 2.4. That'd be 200. No, it wouldn't. Yeah, look, because that's 100, right? There's 8 pieces in that. That would make 100. Yeah, there's 8. Count it. So in my case, 8.
That'd be 16.
8 makes up a hole in this case. So I'm saying 8.
Oh, I see how you're doing
So
it.
yes.
But that wouldn't. Well,
Wait.
you'd have to color them in because you'd still have to.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think I have to color them in.
You'd have to color them in.
Plus, let me draw more.
Like they're all fruits, so they like go together to make like it made a diagram, right? Like a diagram always has like something on the side and then the top thing about the diagram.
I got for one of them, I got 30,612 and 756 divided by 12,755 and 315 equals 2. Wow. Yeah. For one of mine, I did 1.2 times 2 equals 2.4. 1.2 just like 2? Yeah, just like 2. Because if you do 2 times 2 equals 4. You add a 0 here, it makes a big difference because it equals 2. But 16.000 is the same number as 16. They're both the exact same number. No, because it equals 6 because it has the 6, and then if you do it like that, what equals 6? You're doing the same problem. I know. Yeah. Yeah, but how do you get a different answer if you have 6 divided by 16 and 6 divided by 16? And you add a 0. I added a 0, but then I was trying to add 2, and I was like, what? And then I added a 0, and it would equal a different number. Yeah, but why do you add a 0? Why would you add a 0 to it? It's like what we learned in our math lesson. When taught us how to do these, I started making them, and then I did the problem, and I got 2.6, so I don't think they're the same. What I'm confused on is, how is that explaining how they're both different?
All right, bring it back down to the floor. Just like when you guys were doing your free-for-all and it kind of came out to be 2 different types of activities that were going on, we're going to break this into 2 different kinds of activities right now. Okay, first I'm going to have some people share. If you think you came up with just a really novel means brand new, right? Interesting, original. If you came up with a novel idea for the first part, either drawing or equation, you don't have to sit with your partner, it's okay. You're going to be okay there? You can share that, and then after we go through a few people sharing, then we're going to try to all agree, everybody in the class, 100%, and try to all agree on whether 2.4 is the same thing as 2 remainder 4. Here we go. So I would like you to recommend someone. Who did you hear that had just a really cool either equation or drawing to represent 2.4? Victor.
Rainan.
Okay, Rainan, could you come share the last one? Okay. So throw it up here on the document camera. Oh, come up here and give credit for it. We'll get you on. Give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
Time out. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Get my right stick. Okay. So first, you change 2.4 into 2 4/10, which is equal to 24 over 10 times 1/2, and you can reduce 24. Oh, you could cross reduce 24 to 12, 2 to 1. 12 times 1 is 12. 10 times 1 is 10, which equals 1 2/10, which is equal to the decimal of 1.2 times 2, which equals 2.4.
Okay, Randy, why don't you go ahead and call in the somebody else to make a recommendation.
Sure.
Oh, before we go on, did anybody see something about rein-ins that they'd either like to ask a question about, or maybe you're a little confused on? Nobody? Everybody's good? Okay. So who are we hearing from now? Andrea? Bring it up, Andrea.
I did right there. I did 30,600,012 756 divided by 12,755 and 13/15 equals 2.4. Yes.
Can you show how you got that?
I did any number. I just did any number times 2.4. I got the answer. So it's just the same thing as doing the other way. It's like you're doing any number times 2.4 and you get the answer. So the answer divided by what you divided by, which equals 2.4. Yes?
But you don't have any decimals in your divided through dividends, so
It was
how can you
0.0.
get decimal your
It was
answer?
0.0. Yes.
So you're trying to say that it's a remainder. So when you divide 30,600,000 divided by 12 equals 2.4. So 12 goes into 30 2 times remainder 4. You're kind of just proving that 4 is a remainder.
I'm confused.
Well, if you do, so you're saying 12,755,315 times 2.4 equals 30,612,000. You're trying to prove that?
Okay, everybody find somebody near you and talk to them about what you're seeing right now.
I think she's
Okay, Andrea. And talk loud when you share now. Andrea's going to call on a few people.
Sully? Well, I was talking to my partner Julie, that actually recommended yours, and so she actually did the work on the scratch paper, and like if you do, if you could take any problem, like take 2.4 and multiply it by 2, and then you can divide whatever the calculated answer is, and divide it by 2.4 and get 2. And that's what she did right there. So, and Joey did the actual work on the scratch piece of paper, and it actually added up to the numbers. Yeah.
Okay, well, you say on the bottom, I know this is, well, it does have something to do with it. You say no, that a remainder is not, so that would make no sense with that. It would really make no sense with that because 12 times 2.4, how does that even, what? Can Jolie put her work up?
Yeah, can I erase it? Yeah, I did. Actually, so, and, well, actually, on that problem, like, you can just put 0.00000 and, like, all the remainders and put it on the zeros, and, like, it would get the answer. You can still get the answer.
Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Andrea. Can you get an answer that's not a decimal answer when you multiply or when you divide? When you multiply a decimal times a number, can you get an answer that's not a decimal?
Yes.
What if I multiplied 2.1 times 10? Would my answer have a decimal in it? No, right? Because the decimal point ends up becoming 0.0. 2.1 times 10. Like this. Somebody have a piece of paper I can borrow? Thank you. So look, 2.1 times 10. Look at this and help me out. Okay, I can just put the 0 placeholder down, right? What do I do next? Which is? 1. And then? 2 times 2? 2 times 1, which is? 2. How many spots does the decimal point go over? 1. What's the answer? 21. 21. So I multiplied a decimal and got a non-decimal answer. So if I showed this to you as a division problem, 21 divided by 10, do you see any decimal in there? No. But the answer is 2.1, which is a decimal. So can you get a decimal division answer when you're dividing numbers that don't have decimals in it? Yes, you can. We just proved it. That's the whole idea of what we've been doing, is proving this stuff. Oh, my phone's talking to me. I sat on it. Okay. Now, let's take a look at... No, go away. Okay. Let's talk about this picture right here and take a look at your picture and compare it to this picture and decide, is this done correctly? Brenna, I just happened to grab Brenna's here. How many little pie pieces are there here? 10. Okay, so you shaded in 10 out of the 10 pie pieces, and then she shaded in another 10 out of 10, and then she shaded in 4 out of 10. Talk to your neighbor. Does that equal 2 and 4/10? Yes. Okay, let's vote. Yes, that's a good representation. No, that's not a good representation. Okay. We're going to have to move on because of time. The answer is yes. That's a perfect way to do that. That 0.4 means what? 4/10. And that's what she did here, is make a picture of like a pizza. A lot of times they do cut pizzas into 10 pieces. In fact, I went for pizza last night and the pizza was cut into 10 pieces. And so 4 of those pieces is 4/10. And that's what 0.4 means, 4/10. Now for the fun. Okay, how many of you believe that 2.4 is the same thing as 2 remainder 4? How many of you think that that's not true? Oh, some of you changed your mind when we went around and reached consensus. Who would like to come up and argue one side of this? And remember, majority does not rule in math. Majority rules in presidential elections, well, most of the time. But majority does not rule in math, so the majority could be wrong here. Jolie, which side are you on?
I'm on no.
You're on the no side. Who's on the yes side that would like to argue against her? Ben, you and Jolie, come on up to the board. Or you can put your paper under here.
Well, how'd you get yes?
Because if 2/10 is a remainder, 4/10, it has to be a remainder, because if you took out 4/10, it would just be regular 2.
No.
So if you had 4/10, it'd be a remainder after 2.
Okay, well, like, say you do 3 divided by 8, that would be 2, and you have remainder 2, and that would be 6.6, and then keep on going for every remainder. You get the same remainder, and you just keep on going. And so that's if you're calculating a decimal answer. If you're not calculating a decimal answer, then it would just be 2 remainder 2.
What?
Okay, if you're calculating a decimal answer, you have to put a decimal right there, and then put a decimal right here, and then 3 into 20, will be, that's the remainder of 8. And so 2, and then 3 times 6 equals 3 times 6 equals 18, and you have a remainder of 2, and it keeps on going and going and going.
So it is a remainder.
It's a remainder, but you're putting it into the equation still.
Yeah, I know.
You're not just
But
putting it
it's
as
not
the answer yet.
we're not talking, like, well, we are talking about a decimal answer, but if you change that to 6/10, like, you change that, you would round that up to like 7/10, and that would be
Okay, well then this would be 2 remainder 2.
2 remainder 7.
3 into 8. We can go in 2 times, that would be 6, and then remainder 2. So is that going to be 2.2?
What?
Okay, if you have 3 times 2 equals 6.
I don't understand.
2.
You're basically telling me there is a remainder.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like you're trying to tell me.
there's a remainder, but you're putting it into the problem to get the decimal answer.
Yeah.
This isn't a decimal
but
answer
the
because there's no decimal point.
The decimal answer is the remainder because there is not a remainder, but if you're rounding it to the 2, it would be a remainder. If it had 2.9. If you had that, then and you were trying to get
Because look at how much of a
Yeah,
complete.
make sure you stay out of the way so the other kids can see.
Because a complete different answer, because then that'd be 2, 0, 2, 6. It's a complete different answer, but you're just putting, instead of putting the 2 on over here in the answer, you put the 2 into the problem, and you don't get the answer yet.
I know,
until you,
but we're
okay, this
if
has
you
no
turn-
decimal, so how would you get a decimal answer if
If
there's
you
no decimal
turn-
here?
what? There's a decimal right there.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you guys right there. How many people think Jolie's answer makes more sense? How many people think Ben's answer makes more sense? Okay. We're going to mix this up here. Have a seat, you guys. I want... okay, raise your hand if you're agreeing with Ben. Okay, stand up if you're agreeing with Ben. Take your stuff, and I want you to move to all different parts of the room. Get away from each other right now, okay? Because we have more people that agree with Ben. I mean, there's less people that agree with Ben than agree with Jolie on that one. So just get in different parts of the room. Watch out for the cords and stuff. Okay. Now, you guys, it looks like it's about a 2-to-1 ratio. So not more than 2 people for every one of them. So 2 of you can go over here to the corner, 2 there, 2 there, and you're going to need to spread out a little bit more. And I want you to, it's going to be kind of tricky, it's 2-on-1 here. But I want you to try to convince them that you're right, and you guys around the room, I want you to convince them that they're wrong and that you're right. And once you all agree, then I want you to split up from each other and go join another conversation. Go.
You put it in a decimal. Okay. If put it in a decimal. If you have 2 sticks, yeah, and one's in a point. This is a remainder of the other part of the stick.
Not a remainder.
So it is a remainder. It's a fraction. It's a fractional part.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean a remainder. It's not a remainder. 4/10 is the remainder. Fractional means decimal. That's like 0.2%. 0.2%. I'm just saying that if you're saying that's like part of that other stuff.
0.000.
There's only 3 people.
0.000 divided by 6 equals 2.666. Which equals 2.7. And 7 and 4 are not the same.
I just.
Okay, so did you agree with Ben or?
I thought you were going with
Yeah, so now it's even 3-to-1.
I was going with Jolie.
I know.
Yeah.
Because how is
Majority rules in math can't be.
I know.
Show me in your thumbs how you're feeling about remainder. Yes, it's a remainder, or could be a remainder. No, it's not a remainder. Okay, so we're seeing mostly no's. Raise your hand if you changed your mind during that conversation. Wow, a lot of people changed their minds. Malachi, what made you change your mind? Let's talk really loud.
Because of what Spencer and Haley were trying to say. They were saying that
Hit the rewind button in your brain. Go back to what made you actually change your mind. This is a tricky question. Now, while he's thinking, could the rest of you that changed your mind, keep thinking, could the rest of you that changed your mind think why you changed your mind? What made you change your mind? Malachi, can you figure it out? You sure? Don't give up. Do you believe 2.4 is 2 remainder 4? Why not? Just thinking hard. You guys that are tapping, please. I like how you're not giving up, Malachi. You want to call on somebody else? Okay, call on somebody else to change their mind that could tell us why they changed their mind. See how hard of a question that is? Nobody even has their hand up. Come on, somebody. Why did you change your mind? Somebody that changed their mind.
Okay. Well, is it okay if I change my mind to yes?
Yes.
Okay. I changed my mind to yes because.
Put your hand down and let him complete his thought.
I
Please.
changed mine to yes because, okay, rookies, you're not going to understand this, but all the Tigers, remember, if you have to get a decimal answer, you do 8.0 divided by 3. Do you remember that in Tigers math? I'm not talking to the rookies, I'm just talking to the Tigers right now.
Well, everybody needs to understand
Yeah,
this.
I'm going to explain. But do you know how we do that? How we do 8.0? Okay. Well, 8.0 is the same thing as 8. You just put it into a decimal form. So you do 8.0 divided by 3, as it's up there. 3 times 2 is 6. Remainder 2, bring down the 0. 3 goes into 6, and it just keeps going on and on. So that would be a remainder. 6 is a fraction of a point. A decimal is a fraction of a number. And so is a remainder. I don't know if they're the same, but I still think it's yes, because that makes the most sense.
Okay, we could go all day on this. So here is the answer. Are you ready? The answer is... The answer is no. Now, here is why the answer is no. But I take that back. The answer is mostly no. It could be yes, but I didn't hear anybody that proved why it could be yes and not no. Okay, so here is how you actually do this problem. 8 divided by, let's see. No, let's not do that. Let's do 10, 20. Let's do 20 divided by, no. Okay, 16 divided by 6. Okay? 16 divided by 6. How many 6 are there in 16? 2. What's the remainder? 4. 2 remainder 4. So what the people that are saying yes is that's 2.4. What does 0.4 mean? 4 tenths. Take a look at this closely now so you can get into your brain, especially you guys that still think it's no, or if you don't know why you changed your mind, you got to know why. 4 tenths. So we're saying the answer to 16 divided by 6 is 2 and 4 tenths. Is that true? Because remember, 16 divided by 6 can be written as a fraction. 16 divided by 6. Is that equal to 2 and 4 tenths? Let's draw a picture of it. I'm not very good at drawing these. There's 6, and there's 6, and mark, there's 6, okay? So I've got 1 set of 6, 2 set of 6, that's 2 wholes. Most of you are paying real close attention. And then we're saying what's left over. After I have these 2, we have 6 here and 6 here, right? Which makes how many 6?
2.
How many 6 does that make? 12 6. So how many 6 are left over? 4. So let's color in 4 6 right here. 1, 2, Mark, pay attention, 3, 4. So this is 2 and 4 sixths. Is 2 and 4 sixths the same thing as 2 and 4 tenths? 2 and 4 tenths, I would have to take this last pizza and divide it into, not very good, but cut it into 10 pieces and color in 4 of those pieces, right? And think about this. Is 4 6, if you ate 4 6 of a pizza, are you eating more or less than half of that pizza? More than half of the pizza, right? Because what is half of this pizza cut into 6? 3 6. If you eat 4 tenths of a pizza, are you eating more or less than a half of the pizza? Less. So how could 4 6 and 4 tenths or 0.4 be the same thing as remainder 4? Can't be. I'll leave you with this question. I'm not going to tell you the answer to it. I just want you to think about it. See if you can come up with the answer at some point in time. And if you can, tell me, write it down, put it on a note. Now I forgot the question. When could 2 remainder 4 equal 2.4?